Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to the update preview stream. This is Bugs here. I'm joined today by Misty and Artemis. Say hi, guys.
Hey everyone.
Hi, everyone.
So, what do we have going on today? Well, we are 1 week away from the big update and forced wipe. That is going to be on November 2nd. And we are over here on staging showing off some of the stuff that is coming in the update, specifically a lot of this new base decor DLC stuff, which, although still a work in progress, does look like it's likely to launch with the update next week. So, as always, we're going to go through and show you everything you need to know as a player about what's coming in the update and what's going on in development. As always, if you have questions, feel free to do at Miss D underscore, that's me, in chat. We'll get to as many questions as we have the opportunity to. Also, real quick, with what's going on with wipes, what's the deal with server whips today? Well, it is for Rustafied servers, the Thursday weekly wipe servers that are wiping today. So it's your mains, your smalls, your barons, your EUS, and your Zen labs. And they, of course, are wiping at regular scheduled time, which is 3 p.m. local time for the region. So that means EU wiped 3 hours ago, AU and SEA wiped like 12, 13 hours ago. And then US servers will wipe in 2 hours at 3 p.m. EST. Now, I think some daylight savings changes are coming to some people around the world in the next week or so, and just know that we update the uh, the wipe times based on whatever the local daylight savings time is. So if it changes in one place, like I think does the US change first and then EU changes, or one of those changes first and then the other, and it can be confusing for the couple weeks here, but just know we follow whatever the local time is, daylight savings time or otherwise, for whatever that region is. So just keep that in mind. And yeah, just 1 week until the update and force wipe. And so, what is going on staging? Well, Halloween, as you might have noticed, is here. If you're playing on any Rust servers, you'll notice the Halloween event is live. That went live on Monday and will be live through the update through November 2nd. And with that, you've got some of the new Dracula costume and the steak and everything like that. And some of those classic Halloween events like the Frankenstein's monsters and the trick or treating and the candy bags and all that good stuff. You can check out my article from last week on Rustafied.com for all the specifics on like what the candy bags drop and everything like that. I'm not going to go too crazy into what all the Halloween content is today, but there is reference on Rustafied.com if you need it. But yeah, the Halloween event is live and will be live until November 2nd, next week, next Thursday, when the update and forced wipe drops. Now, over here on staging, we are looking at this new base decor DLC. Now, this DLC is an interesting one. It is a bunch of new items that, as the name would, hint at, that are good for decorating your base. There's storage barrels, there's wanted posters, there's gun racks, there's hunting trophies, there's new planters, there's new rocking chairs, and there's torch holders. There's a bunch of stuff. So we'll go through kind of briefly what that entails. First, there's two new storage barrels. There's a horizontal and a vertical. They both look like mirrors of the large wood storage. So at the moment, same amount of storage and everything like that. They're just shaped a little bit differently. The horizontal one, of course, lays on its side. The vertical one is standing upright like a barrel you would expect. But they're just storage, they're just storage for things. I do want to really drive home this is all still a work in progress. So there was some concerns on Reddit earlier this week, and it was before I think the barrels had more slots or something like that on how it's going to be all pay to win. But the devs have historically been pretty good about not putting in very blatant pay to win stuff in, and I don't think this is going to be any different. So I think this is just going to be some aesthetic changes, some things really just to decorate your base a little better. I don't think there's going to be any blaring pay to win things going on here. Of course, people can always make certain smaller claims about that, but I don't think there's going to be anything like blaring with this. But we do have the storage barrels, and that's one of the couple things coming in. The other thing we've got, and I'm not sure if this is going to be just a default item or if it's just going to be added with the DLC. Once again, all this is a work in progress. Nothing's like clearly defined in the code as this is part of the DLC, this is not. So we're just showing off a bunch of new stuff that's on the staging branch, which looks to be part of the DLC, but some of it might not be, including the skinning knife, which is a new knife in the game, which is specifically for, from the looks of it, getting the heads off various different people and animals you killed for the use of using them in the hunting trophy. There is a small and a large hunting trophy. And basically, what you do is when you kill an animal or a person, you grab the skinning knife. And then from that, you can get a head bag. So you use the skinning knife to skin the animal or the corpse, and then you get a head bag with a different head type in it. You can get like wolves, you can even get sharks and stuff like that. And then with these new trophies, you can put the head bag on the trophy, and is the idea at least, and then it will show the head of the animal that you are uh, that you had in the bag. I don't know what the hell I'm trying to say here. I got a little distracted looking at the stream. But basically, yeah, you can mount heads of various animals you killed. You can even, with the small trophy, mount heads of people that you have killed. So if Artemis goes inside here, you can see uh, my head mounted on the back left here with the bucket helmet and everything. So that's something you can do with the small trophies, along with mounting chicken heads too. So that's another way to decorate your base as well. And you get those heads with the skinning knife. Once again, the whole specifics of this is still a work in progress, so I'm not going to get bogged down too much. And not sure if the skinning knife is going to be just a default part of the game. It looks like it's a level 1 workbench, or if it's just going to be something that's included in the DLC, and then you'll just, to do anything with the head bags, you'll need the DLC to have the hunting trophies, I guess. We can see. There's also, speaking of trophies, there's fishing trophies too. So you can take a fish and you can put it on the trophy, and then you can even press it. Remember the singing bass trophy from like 10, 15 years ago? Yeah, it basically does that. You can go hit the fish, and then it kind of like moves a little bit, wiggles the tail and stuff like that. I don't think it's singing any songs yet, but the tails are wiggling, and those are the fishing trophies. And yeah, that's cute. That's kind of funny. There's also some wanted posters. There's 3 different styles of wanted posters. There's like a Polaroid one, and then there's some more old timey uh, kind of Wild West wanted poster things. And with those, you can just put pictures of people you come across. I think it's from your contact list or whatever. And so you can put different people on those wanted posters and put those around your base. There's also some new types of gun racks. So, unlike the gun racks as part of the gun rack DLC, where you can put multiple weapons on one gun rack, these gun racks, as part of what looks to be the base decor DLC, are just single weapon gun racks. So, they're much smaller. They only can hold one weapon, and there's a couple different styles. There's like the tusks mounted to the log style, and a lot of the stuff is being called frontier style. It's being like labeled frontier, so I'm not sure if there's more frontier stuff coming. There is a frontier base decor, not base decor, building skin DLC. So there is a wooden building skin which is more frontier looking, which we previewed the other week. It's still a work in progress, but it looks like they're taking that naming uh, and using it for some of these items as well. Once again, not sure if all these things are part of the base decor DLC or some of them are going to be coming in with other things, but these are just new items that are on the staging branch, many of which we assume are going to be part of the base decor DLC, which we think is going to be coming out next week. But those are the single gun racks. There's 3 types. They've got different styles, and they hold just one weapon. And what else? There's also the hinged double door, which is kind of more of a frontier style thing as well. It's kind of, like that Wild West saloon door type of thing. That's something that is new on the staging branch as well. And you can see here, there's like 2 types of doors that you can walk through, and they like swing open, and that's a new type of door. Doesn't look like the most secure type of door, but it is a new type of door for base decor. And then there's a couple of planters as well. There's a bathtub planter, a minecart planter. So these are just planters to plant plants as you do when you garden in Rust and things like that. So these planters you can put around. You can see the bathtub planter fits like 3 plants, and the minecart looks like it fits 2. And yeah, they're just nice looking. And then there's also some mirrors too. The mirrors are an interesting one because they kind of like turn on when you get close to them and you're looking at them. Otherwise, they have like a different material. You can kind of see the material switch to what looks like kind of a sort of translucent or reflective material to an actual reflection. But also, if you look at that reflection, you can see some issues at the moment with the reflection. Specifically, building blocks are not part of the reflection. It just seems to be the deployables and the person in the reflection, but the actual building blocks are not part of the reflection. This could be used poorly by players. I don't think it's going to go live like this. I can't imagine it will because of the various different things people could do to kind of maybe see through bases and stuff like that. But once again, work in progress, people, work in progress. So it's likely to change, but there are these different mirrors. What were there? 3 or 4 different style
4, I
mirrors?
believe. Yep. Yep.
4 style mirrors. Yeah. So there's the 4 mirrors as well. There's the rocking chair as well. You can see in the corner we got some rocking chairs. They do rock. You sit down and they do rock. And so that's cool. And then there's also finally the torch holders, which mount on the wall, and you can put the torches on, and then that's light torch light for your walls, which is a very long overdue base decoration thing, I believe. So that's nice to have, and so actual like lit torches on the walls and everything. And once again, I believe most, if not all, of these things are going to be part of the base decor DLC. No idea what price point that base decor DLC is going to be. Probably 10 to 15 bucks. That seems to be, if we're talking US dollars, that seems to be around the price point of what we're seeing these DLCs to be. And we expect this to come out next week. Given the status of everything on staging now, all this stuff hit staging like kind of late last week, and it's been getting tweaked pretty thoroughly this week. We've seen a number of commits on various base decor DLC items this week and various merges and things like that. So given the velocity of work on this, I do think that the base decor DLC will be going live with the update next week. We'll, of course, be back next week with all the details of what you can expect to come in the update and if the DLC is going live. But given our experience on this, and given what we're seeing, it does look like that DLC is going to be going live next week. So that's cool. That's the base decor DLC. There's also some other things being worked on in the realm of just the game as a whole. One of the big ones that just came in late yesterday was radiation being added to oil rigs. And this is to prevent camping, the camping of which would stop the crate from respawning. And so to stop people from camping the oil rig indefinitely and stopping that crate respawn, they're adding some radiation. Now, they've got some placeholder values so far. As always, as with all this stuff, work in progress, subject to change, all that good stuff. But the placeholder values are basically the radiation will start 45 minutes after the crate starts being hacked, and then it will ramp up to 100 rads over 5 minutes. So basically, the radiation won't be there the whole time, but 45 minutes after the crate starts being hacked, then the radiation will ramp up, and over 5 minutes, it'll hit 100 rads and basically make it pretty uninhabitable to hang out at that oil rig during certain times, such that it encourages people to leave the oil rig and they end up and the oil rig can respawn the crate. So that's cool. That looks like it is coming in for the update next week. We've also got some changes to saddlebags for horses coming in. Specifically, there was like kind of some confusion around what slots were for equipment and which ones were for items and storage. And so, what they did was the saddlebag itself has been increased from 6 to 12 slots again. This is something they've gone back and forth with a couple times over the history of saddlebags, but there will be 12 slots of storage again in the saddlebag itself. And then the horse inventory stuff is split into two inventories, one for equipment and one for storage. Um, and yeah, so this is still uh, looks like it's in process, but you can see some changes to the looting here where you can see the equipment storage in one thing, and then you can see the loot panels in like kind of another thing. Not sure if this is going to change further prior to going live next week. But basically, it looks like you'll be able to store more stuff on your horse. Um, and Artemis, are you able to get 3 saddlebags on there now to get a total of 36 storage slots? Is that what we're seeing?
You can actually get 4 at the moment.
Wow, cool. So you can get 4 and get a total of 48 storage slots on your horsey horse if you want at the moment. But once again, not sure if this is going to change, but you can see those 4 slots are for the equipment that you put on the horse, and then you can actually loot the horse through a different loot panel, and that's where all the storage that you put on the horse shows up. So stands to reason you'll be able to have more storage on your horse than previous before. You can't code lock the horse or anything like that, but you will be able to fit more stuff on there. That's for sure. And we'll confirm that prior to the update going live next week. I wouldn't be surprised if some things still change a little bit with that. Can you get horse heads, by the way? I know this is awful, but
Yeah.
you can get horse heads.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, good. I was going to say, if you can get shark heads, you should be able to get horse heads at the very least. But there's also a bunch of other stuff being worked on. So a little quality of life thing with the repair bench. If you hold shift while right clicking items into the repair bench, it will automatically apply the last skin that you did. So that's like kind of a quicker way of reskinning some items and stuff like that. It also they said allow skinning for less than 0.75 seconds, but don't play the effect if it occurred under that delay. So just kind of some tweaks to the effect plays and everything with that. They fixed guitar skins not working in third person. So guitar skins should be working in third person after this. They are allowing the jackhammer to be repaired inside the workbench for free. So that's a kind of new thing. There's more work on the tutorial island, which is that kind of new server type from the looks of it, which will allow new players in the game to spawn on their own little private island and then through the mission system and various NPCs kind of run through some tutorial missions to get a sense for how the game works and how the various different dynamics of the game function. So we're seeing more work on that tutorial island. Not sure if that's going to go live with the update next week or not, but we'll keep everyone posted. There's also initial work on a metal detector. Not sure what that's going to be used for, but we've got a metal detector in the works. They separated the teleport everyone to me, teleport sleepers to me, and teleport non-sleepers to me commands just because they wanted some more granularity for that. Players aren't going to need to worry about that, but for admins, it's a slight little note. They made it so cactuses are no longer defeating scientists. I guess the cactuses were taking out scientists, and they made that not a thing anymore. They also have done some work on dropped items not dropping through vehicles. So if you're like dropping a AK in a boat, it ideally should actually land in the bottom of the boat, accessible still to other people, and not just fly through the boat, which is a very cool thing. And they're also doing some more work on rail network links, which of course is going to be that new kind of link tunnel thing for hooking up the above and below ground rail networks. It's just going to be like a two-way tunnel with two rails, and you'll be able to take the work carts from below ground to above ground and vice versa. If you've got a train above ground, you want to take it below ground, you'll be able to do that with these rail network links. It looks like there'll be one at the train monument and then another couple around the map with a variation or two in the mix. Not sure if this is going to make it in for the update next week. It looks like it's close, but I'd give it kind of a 50-50 at this point because it's still a work in progress and it needs to be added to the ProcGen maps and merged in. I think they're testing it on aux 2 at the moment, but we haven't seen it merged in with the normal staging. So maybe we'll see that for next week, but we'll have to keep you posted on that. But yeah, that's about what we got going on in Rust development for the week. Misty, we got any questions from the audience?
Not a lot, but we have some. Have the devs ever hinted about having a bundled skin pack for the building skins? Each one is 10 to 13 bucks. Have they ever thought about maybe doing a bundled special?
I have not heard personally of them thinking about doing a bundled special or anything like that for the building skins. I could totally see it happening though, or I could see some sort of bundle being released maybe around like a Steam sale or something like that, where you can get the game and all the skins for a certain low price or special price or something like that. Um, I could see that happening, but I haven't heard any specific murmurs from the devs with any specific plans to do it.
All these new stuff was for DLC, maybe, right?
Yeah, looks like, and none of this is confirmed. It's still a work in progress, and so we're just going off what is new on the staging branch itself. But from the looks of it, most of this new stuff is going to be part of a base decor DLC, which we think in all likelihood is going to go live with the update next week.
What is that knife that she's holding?
That knife is the what is it called? The skinning knife.
Yeah, it's called
Yeah,
skinning
Yeah.
knife.
skinning
Yeah.
knife, yeah. And that's a new knife. We're not sure if that's just going to be a default knife in the game. It looks like it's a workbench level 1 item, um, or if it's just going to be part of the decor DLC. But the thing with that knife that we're seeing basically is that knife, when you use it to harvest an animal or a player, you get not only the harvestable goods, but you also get a head bag, and that head bag has a head type in it, which can be like a different type of animal or person. And then those head bags are what are used to mount the hunting trophies and to mount the head on the actual trophy. So to get a head on a trophy, you first need a skinning knife, and then the skinning knife will produce the head bag. The head bag can be used to mount on the hunting trophy. That's basically what we're seeing so far. There's two types of hunting trophies. There's the small and the large. There's also the fish trophies, and depending on the animal size and everything like that, you need a matching head. So like chicken heads and human heads go on the small trophies, bear heads and shark heads like go on the large trophies. And that's roughly what we're seeing basically, but all that is sourced from the skin knife. Once again, not sure if the skin knife is going to be just something that is an item accessible behind the DLC, or if that will be a default new knife in the game and only people with the DLC will be able to like kind of access the trophies to be able to use the head bags.
Doesn't the more bags slow the horse down?
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, I think I just tried and it was walking really, really slow. So I think that actually is the thing.
Yeah, good call. So the more bags, the more stuff, the more slow the horse is.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Do trophies provide comfort or are they just aesthetic? How is that pronounced?
Aesthetic.
Aesthetic, yeah.
Yeah, are we seeing what's the comfort that we're seeing around all that stuff?
Haven't seen any, to be fair, at the minute. And yeah,
Okay.
to answer your question, if you see here, as I'm taking on and putting on the saddlebags, the speed's changing for the horse.
Yeah.
What do you think of drinking Fountain as a craftable item to place in base to make drinking easier when setting up water in the base.
I think that'd be cool. I think a water fountain, since hydration is a thing, like it would make sense to have some water fountains. I don't see why not. Set up the plumbing, everything like that. That'd be cool.
Yeah. So we have no more questions. Do we have any news from Rustafied side?
Well, Charitable Rust went off awesome the other week. Really happy with how that went. We're still waiting on final numbers for the skin sales and everything like that. But we'll have that in a couple weeks. It normally takes a little over a month for everything to get finalized on the Steam side and everything like that. But it was a huge success, and I'm really happy with how that went. Also, there is another Rust charity event going on starting tomorrow, actually, 12 p.m. Eastern to 5 p.m. Or 12 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, that's it. Or 5 p.m. GMT is when it starts. But October 27th through the 29th, it's the Uterust Ladies Charity Stream, where they are raising funds for Breast Cancer Research Foundation. So definitely check it out. Becca something is running this with the Uterust uh, group of ladies. And yeah, definitely check it out. We retweeted on X or whatever, reposted on X with some information so you can check it out there, or just look up Uterust on X and you'll see some more posts, Rust reposted and everything like that. But definitely go support their great cause. Once again, that event's going to be going on starting tomorrow through the weekend. And it's going to be raising funds for a great cause, breast cancer research and all that stuff. So a huge shout out to all the ladies at Uterust and all that good stuff. Also in Rustified News, we should have a new reporting system going live in the next week or so. So you will still be able to report in game and in Discord, but we've also got this spiffy new website where you can just go log in through Steam, and then there's a nice GUI for you to click through and easily report one or multiple people, more easily add evidence and information and links and all that stuff. So we've really spent a lot of time rehashing this reporting system. We really want to make it as easy and as seamless as it can be for players to report people in our servers. And this website is a huge step in the right direction. So we should be having that go live in the next week or so. And so keep an eye out for that. But yeah, that's about it, I think. Uh, yeah, there's not a huge amount of stuff going on. We're kind of winding the year down, I feel like.
Yeah. Let's do a recap because
Let's,
questions
yeah,
flow.
let's recap here. So we are 1 week from the update and force wipe. That's right. November 2nd is when we expect that. So next week, next Thursday. In the meantime, Halloween event is running, so you can get your Dracula cape and mask and the steak and all that stuff, and trick or treat and get Frankenstein's monsters and all that good stuff in any Rust server between now and next week. The Halloween stuff will be live until November 2nd when the update and force wipe comes out. And then we're seeing some other stuff. One of the main things we're seeing over here on the staging branch is the base decor DLC items. There are a huge number of items. There's some new planters, there's some new storage boxes, there's wanted posters, there's weapon racks, there's hunting trophies and fishing trophies, there's rocking chairs, there are mounted torches, wall torches, so you can actually have your base lit with torchlight, and there's even some mirrors, which are acting a little janky right now if you see on the stream, but I imagine that will be fixed. But there's some mirrors coming. Now, some of this stuff has the name like Frontier in front of it. And Frontier is also the name of an upcoming base skin, building skin. So not sure if some of the stuff is not going to be part of the base decor DLC and it's going to come in with the building skin DLC, or if it's all going to come in with the base decor DLC. We'll see. But we're just reporting on what we're seeing over here on the staging branch, and we'll kind of get some more confirmation ideally next week, closer to the launch of the update, to see exactly what's coming in. But one of the things of note with this new DLC is there's a new knife, the skinning knife. When you skin an animal or a person with that knife, you'll get a head bag. That head bag has a type of head inside of it. And then depending on the type of head, you can mount that head on a trophy, either the large or the small hunting trophy, and then display that proudly in your base or around your base. So that's one thing of note with this base decor DLC stuff as well. Also going on, we've got oil rig radiation is coming in. So basically, people were camping the oil rig. This has been happening for a little while now. They camp the oil rig to stop the crate from respawning. Well, what's going to stop that? But some radiation to get people out of there. So some placeholder values, and of course, as with all this stuff, it's subject to change. But we've got starting 45 minutes after the crate starts being hacked, the radiation will start ramping up, and it'll ramp up to 100 rads over 5 minutes. So that should clear people off of the oil rigs, allowing those crates to respawn and keeping that stuff functioning as intended. Also, we got some changes to saddlebags. Basically, saddlebags themselves have been increased from 6 slots to 12 slots again. And kind of the UI of how that horse stuff functions has been changed. So basically, there's 4 slots for equipment, which there were already, but they're in their own spot now. And then there's a different looting screen for actual looting. So at the moment, you can put 4 saddlebags on a horse and then have actually 48 different slots of storage. But take note that every saddlebag you add, the horse slows down. So it's going to be a slow ass horse if you weigh him down with 48 slots. So keep that in mind. Also, subject to change. So it might change between now and next week. Also, a couple other things. Holding shift while right-clicking items into the repair bench will apply the last skin automatically. So that's a nice little quality of life thing coming in. Some fixes for like the guitar skin was not working in third person. It now should be. They're making jackhammer repairable inside via the workbench for free. There's more work on the tutorial island, which is that kind of new server type for players to learn the game. There's initial work on a metal detector, so not sure exactly how that's going to be used, but we're seeing some commits around that. We're seeing cactuses will no longer defeat scientists. So scientists were running into cactuses and dying, and that shouldn't happen anymore. They're doing some more work on allowing items to be dropped in vehicles. So if you're thinking about like when you're rolling around in a boat and you drop a gun on the ground, it should stay in the boat instead of going through the boat and just being lost forever. So that's huge. That's awesome. And they're also doing some more work on rail network links, which is, of course, going to be that link around the map, which hooks up the below ground rail network with the above ground rail network and vice versa as well, if you so choose. So that is what's going on. Keeping an eye on what is coming for the update next week. Still 1 week away, so time for some other things to sneak in and everything, and for more of this to be finalized. So we're going to keep a close eye over the coming week, and of course have a full summary of what you can expect in the update next week on Rustafied.com. And we're also posting to Twitter throughout the week, and YouTube, and Instagram, and TikTok with shorts when new stuff hits the staging branch. But yeah, that's about what's going on so far. Any other questions we got to cover? Kind of a slow week in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, a little bit. No, there is a few. Does barrels still have more slots than boxes?
No, it looks like that's been changed. So the barrels are basically just a mirror of the large wood storage at the moment.
Also, can you elaborate on the jackhammer chains? What do you mean by repairable? Because before you could still repair it on the workbench. So,
Yeah, I was just reading
like refill?
the commit, and it just said allow jackhammer to be repaired at the workbench for free. So that's just a commit from this week. I personally haven't tested that or played with that too much. So I don't know if we want to test that real quick, but that was just a commit from the commit feed.
Yeah, I was just
You
this.
can,
It's been free.
yeah, yeah. Workbench or repair bench?
This is workbench
Okay, yeah,
Oh,
is what the commit was.
that was, you,
Weird. Yeah, I don't know what
yeah, I'm
that
not
commit.
yeah.
sure.
I kind of thought that too, but I'm
I'm
like
gonna
working
try
on the.
something here.
I
Hold on, I'm
Yeah,
just
gonna
try
I
it
spawn
see
in a
this
seriously.
stuff on
Jackie.
the commit feed. I put it in my article,
Yeah,
but
sure.
I'm
The
kind of like,
repair would
huh,
be new. But
maybe it is
you have
repair.
to
Let's try.
hit it a bit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you
know
got to
that.
damage it.
There.
Oh, and someone's saying
Repair.
free with no hit the durability.
Oh,
So
okay. So
maybe
you
it's
can repair in the repair bench now. Let me check if I can still do it
Yeah.
on the workbench.
Did it take durability?
Nope, it just says repair. It's
Nice.
free. Yeah. Now you don't have the option now to repair in the workbench. So repair bench, I think, is the
okay. So I'm going to
going
change
forward.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, interesting.
Do you want to see?
Yeah, go on.
Let me see if there was anything else. Can you change the helmet of the human head trophy, or is it only what they were wearing? I would
Oh,
It was
think
what they were
it's what they're
wearing.
wearing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I've still got the option to
I
refill
didn't.
from the workbench. I'm not sure. Hang on, let me test the repair as well.
Oh, you know what it was? I think it's because it wasn't damaged when I put it in there. It was only because I repaired it in the repair bench. I think that's why I couldn't see it.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, so you
Actually,
can repair in a repair bench, which is new. So it looks like you can use
okay.
either at the moment, at least.
Yeah, so if you don't have a workbench, you can just use the repair bench. So
Yeah.
that's
cool. Thanks for that clarification.
I think, yeah. Oh, do you think the turrets are going to be changed again?
I really
The
don't
turret
know.
limit? Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting one, and I that had some definite mixed reviews, but I haven't seen anything specifically around changing it. So it might be here to stay, but I think it's possible we could see a change.
Yeah. I think that's it, Bugs.
All right, yeah, a little shorter one this week. I am fine with that because, man, after Charitable Rust and a couple other things going on, it has been a crazy month or so, and it's nice to have that stuff winding down and to be able to relax a little bit. So I'm happy to call this a little bit of a shorter one. We, of course, will be back next week as always to show you off everything coming in the update and forced wipe. Once again, that's going to be next week, November 2nd at the normal scheduled time, 2 p.m. EST, I believe, although I hesitate because I think some time zones are changing and we might be an hour earlier.
Yeah, I think that's right. You're an hour earlier for EU next week.
Yeah, we might be an hour earlier for EU next week. So stay tuned for that. So if you're in the US, this stream and the update might be coming out an hour earlier next week. Be careful, be mindful of that because we change times at different times for some reason. I don't know why. I think
Right?
farming or something was the
To
original
confuse
reason
us.
to confuse the crap out of us twice a year, especially people who do stuff internationally. So I don't know, bear with us. Time changes because it's man made anyway. And so we'll be broadcasting sometime again around a week from now, basically. And stay
There
tuned
was,
for, oh, yeah, yeah.
yeah, there was just one question coming in just now. I saw a clip on Twitter of items no longer falling through boats. Was that discovered this week or maybe an earlier week?
Yeah, that's been worked on this week. It looks like that is coming in for the update next week.
Thank you.
Yeah. I haven't confirmed personally that it works 100% of the time, but it does look like it's working pretty well. So
Nice.
should be in for next week unless something changes or whatever, because everything is subject to change, as you all know. But yeah, that should do it.
Yep.
All
I
right,
think,
awesome.
yes.
Yes. Well, that
Yes.
is that. Well, a huge thank you everyone for tuning in. Once again, we are not developers of the game. We're not on the Face Punch payroll. We are just fans of the game like you who love reporting on development news and running the best servers that we can. And the only way that we can do that is through the support of the community. So to everyone who tunes in and watches, to people who give bits, to people who subscribe on Twitch, thank you. And to our wonderful, beautiful, loyal VIP customers, thank you all so much. We literally would not be able to do what we do without you. So thank you for the support. Uh, Artemis, Miss D, as always, thank you for being my co-MCs.
As always, you're welcome.
You're welcome.
And with that, we're going to wind this puppy down. We will be back next week, same time, same place. Well, maybe an hour different time because time's changing, but around the same time. Just watch X for when we're going live. And we'll be back for the update next week and to show you everything you need to know in the update. In the meantime, I hope you all have a wonderful wipe and a wonderful week. This is Bugs signing off.